That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 308. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benesowitz, NBA Draft Nights 1 and 2 in the books. Nets making news with their first round pick, Michael Brown Jr. Knicks making trades all over the place. We'll sort all of that out. And on the previous evening, the Nets make a stunner. They add former New York Knicks All-Star Julius Randle to the roster, giving up Nick Claxton. Nets also moving to the first round of the draft, which they used on Tuesday evening. Alex, good morning as we record this on a Thursday morning here in June, end of June. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. The Knicks did exactly what I wanted them to do. Don't waste any cap space on players that are at the end of the first round. They traded back. Got some future seconds, got a million seconds. We'll go over all that in a little bit. I was just happy that they did that. Hopefully they have a plan in place for, to re-sign the vets. We'll get into all that as well. But yeah, the shocker of the Nets getting Julius Randle and how much that is a lot to do with the history of this podcast is Julius Randle
Sure,
and
of course.
just, the history of the Knicks and this run. And, it's kind of funny at first. As a Knicks fan, you see it, I was hysterically laughing, like not just laughing my ass off on in text, like I was actually laughing. Just the the full circle moment of it all. Like, Durant and Kyrie went to the Nets, and the Knicks ended up Randle or mocked for that, and the Knicks ended up with the championship, and the Nets ended up with Randle. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of funny. But when you calm down and you look at it, it's a great move for the Nets. I mean, it raises their floor. He's going to win a lot of games. He's good with the young players for the most part. And, it changes the culture around the organization because they're trying to win and they're not trying to lose. So what was your reaction to all that?
Yeah, first part, just to answer your question, I didn't even know that was a thing until later on when I heard Knicks fans talking, but I understand that coming from their perspective of where they were as a loser franchise at the time to where they are now. So I get that from that point of view. Never even crossed my mind. I guess I'm just so stead focused right now on the Nets and not caring about what the other team in New York does that I was just all excited about what they did and what they brought in. This is a team that needed talent, and that's what they went ahead and got. A huge upgrade over Nick Claxton. And, it was funny when people were, well, he's not a good playoff player. I'm like, I think the fucking Nets have been close to the playoffs. They need to win regular season basketball games. That's what this is about right now. And they improved their roster. There's no doubt about that. He'll come in there and be a steady veteran. He's a guy that's going to obviously drive Nets fans crazy, but he's going to help them win basketball games. And they needed somebody as a bridge gap player. And it is following a lot of the same formula that the Knicks did, a little bit different in a lot of ways. But they get a guy in here. They up their cap a little bit. They had flexibility because of all the money that they had. They get a floor raiser in a team, and that's going to help them win games when they're not going to tank. And I'm excited about that. Julius Randle's still a good basketball player. He's a lot better than a lot of what I saw last year, believe me.
That's for sure.
So, yeah, I was happy about that. And, I don't – once I kind of heard it was a thing, I just don't give a shit what Knicks fans think anymore. I really don't. So I was happy about it. I'm pretty excited about that. The one thing that did annoy me, and I've been really in a good place with all this. We were texting about this a little bit earlier, and I'll shed light on it too. Like, the Knicks won the championship was probably for me the best thing that could happen to me as somebody that never. I was like, I can't see the Knicks win the championship. I just can't imagine it. The thought of it. Now that I saw it happen, I realize life moves on, and it's really not that big of a deal for me personally. And it's really helped me be like, all right, they won. I'm excited about the Nets now, and that's really helped. Life still moves forward, believe it or not, and it's a moment that Knicks fans will have forever, and of course you cherish, and it's an unbelievable accomplishment. It's something that you can enjoy and say you saw, which I'm extremely jealous for. But it's over. It's moved forward, and now it's all about the Nets. For me, at least, in a very busy offseason to try to climb the mountain. So I was just excited. I was like, all right, from a basketball standpoint, if you take away the bullshit and you take away the drama and you take away the stuff that doesn't really matter, and that's how the Nets front office is thinking, they improved their roster. They didn't give up anything to do it. They gave up a guy that has been a disappointment in Nick Claxton that started so strong and then has just not been good since all of his injuries. I think if you're the Nets, it's a no-brainer move, and you move forward.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I think also with your point about it not bothering as much of the Knicks winning, I'm sure it was annoying to watch, and it bothered you like in the moment, and you're like the anxiety of the moment, and then it was gone. You're like, whatever, because you're an adult. I think if it happened when you were like 17 or 22 or in like your like sports prime with not a lot of responsibilities and things like you're looking at your two kids, you're like, oh man, whatever. Knicks lost won the championship, like big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it annoys you, but it's like I was talking about this on here and on social media. It's kind of like there's sports mad and sports depression, and there's real mad and real depression. And this is like sports mad and sports depression, and like, yeah, it sucks, I'm sure, to see the Knicks win, but it's also like, you know what, whatever, so it's like you get over it the next day and you move on. It's going to be annoying, the ring ceremony and all that stuff. I'm sure the parade wasn't great to watch, and
Didn't watch it.
You could just ignore it. Yeah,
just ignore it.
Yeah. I think not being on social media anymore, actually, or Twitter, actually helps you a lot because it's not pounded in your face. Like,
no,
nonstop,
I don't need to see it. I don't need to see it. I'm happy for you, and obviously something that's amazing. But for me, the Nets had been so irrelevant for so long.
That's true.
And I'm not just talking about going through a tank season back to back. The end of the tank season was brutal.
Right. Wasn't like the Knicks beat the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals or something.
No, that would be like. Let me put it this way: if the Nets lost to the Bucks in the second round, the Durant toe thing lingers.
Oh yeah,
a bajillion times more in my mind than OG Anunoby's tip in to win Game 4 or whatever it was. Like that to me, I'm just like that was annoying to see, but that moment lingers a lot more for me personally. The tip, it's good.
Yeah, I got one of those.
She said.
Playbook products work together on Twitter at Nick Central, and they sent me some stuff, and one of them is the ones that with the coffee cups that come with a play on it on the other side, and one of them was the OG tip-in.
See,
and it's my favorite coffee cup.
I don't blame you for that. This is my perspective. Like every Knicks fan now is a lot more broke than I am because they had to spend so much money on all this shit they had to buy. I had to buy nothing. Right, like I spent no money, so that's the thing. Like Knicks fans probably spend somewhere between $100 to $1,000, let's say, and anywhere in between. I'm sure there's, as you talked about, that hat you were wearing was $60. So whatever the range was and what people bought. So from my perspective, I saved a lot more money over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, you got the sales on NBA.
I will say that was like the one thing that was awesome. Was because of the irrelevance of the Nets. There's so much. I bought probably $60, like 5 incredible pieces of clothing.
It's all generic stuff that's still going to be good in 5 years.
Really nice, nice apparel.
Me, I impulse bought the OG Finals jersey the night of the tip-in. It's going to be delivered tomorrow or today, maybe, finally. But it's just kind of like, I just went on, it was Apple Pay, and it's just like bang, bang, bang. I need this right now. I didn't know what to do with myself.
So from a draft perspective for the Nets, they have the 6th pick in the draft. They take Michael Brown Jr.
And now they should fold as a franchise, apparently, because of that. Did you hear that?
a lot to dissect on that one. First of all,
a little bit of an overreaction, just a tad.
Well, I have a theory on why people are saying things like that. But from a basketball standpoint, there was kind of a debate between, and I am not going to tell you I know who is going to be, one, who's going to be the better player, and 2, who I watch more in college to give an opinion. But I can tell you there's a lot of people that have an opinion on both sides of it. What I've noticed is if you're a talking head, somebody that's paid to be entertain people, you typically will take Darius Acuff as the guy you like. If you've watched college basketball, it seems to be that Michael Brown Jr. is the guy that people like more. Now, that means nothing in the grand scheme of who's going to be a better player. It's a crapshoot. We've known this from previous drafts and all sports. I can tell you somebody I'm very close with that watches college basketball all the time and is involved in the sport said that if healthy, they think Michael Brown Jr. is an absolute star. That's what he said.
Wow.
Does it mean he's right? No. But I can't, for the life of me, go on a microphone and actually vomit spray an opinion that I don't know. And I lose respect for anybody that goes on a microphone and goes on a video camera and starts saying that Sean Marks should be fired because he didn't take Darius Acuff as opposed to Michael Brown Jr. when you actually are looking to just fill time and space because you're paid to do it. That to me is an embarrassment. When Adam Shine went on and said that the Nets should move because of that, It was an act. That was the first time I actually got angry. And kudos to him because his job is to evoke emotion.
Of course.
I have two theories on this. One, they have time to fill because now that the Knicks run is over, the Mets suck. There is nothing to talk about. So let's leverage the Nets.
The Yankees are boring. You're right.
Let's leverage the Nets and how pathetic they have been and use that as an angle to get Knicks fans interested to make fun of them. That is all that is. That's exactly what that is. I said this to you on text message. If the Knicks lost in the second round, if they didn't win the championship, and from a Knicks fan perspective, it would be, what do we need to do to get over the hump? We didn't do this. Like there would have been something that didn't go right. Hey, we got to trade this. That would be the conversation. But because they won the championship, there is nothing to talk about with the Knicks anymore. So we have to use the Nets as leveraged for Knicks fans that are still angry about the Nets because they're pissed that they moved to New York. And that's the exact coverage that it becomes. The other troll that did it was Tommy Lugauer on WFAN. He goes there and says that Sean Marks should be fired because of this, and the Knicks are winning the championship because they make right moves. Tell me the draft picks that Leon Rose made over the years. There's all the fucking trades he made. I can't stand the word vomiting that comes out of people's mouth when they don't know what they're talking about. They have to fill up time, and they use that as an excuse to bring the Nets into the conversation because of the Knicks. Like, Tommy, you won the championship. Figure out something else to talk about besides the Nets when you're clueless on the team or the organization. It was a joke 2 minutes from you out of your mouth.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's part of what's been annoying me about sports talk on the radio and on TV for years now. It's not about having an honest, real conversation. It's about just getting clicks and, your personality or your integrity, I should say, be damned. And this wasn't even like a move. This wasn't like the first pick in the draft, deciding between Zion and Ja Morant. This was like the sixth pick in the draft of a draft that many people don't know half the players in, maybe 75% of the players in, because and college basketball is hard to follow these days, and that's fine. But, and especially locally here with the Knicks taking up most of the conversation, and the finals just ended 5 minutes ago, like literally a week and a half ago. Nobody's been scouring the mock drafts and stuff like that. And this wasn't even like football where it was like, remember Reggie Bush was the surefire number one pick, and then the Texans picked Mario Williams, and it was just like, what? Like everybody can have an opinion about that because you watch Reggie Bush be a star for years with USC, like a literal star. This wasn't even like Odin and Durant where you're like, all right, which one are we picking? You know what I mean? Like it was.
And who was better? The second pick.
The second pick in both ways, both times.
The part is, and it's I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me annoyed is there's a lot of people that think they made the right decision. And I'm not saying that they're going to be right. I hope they are. Obviously, I want the team to be successful, and they're taking more of a gamble there. But this idea that they just passed up on, like, Michael Jordan waiting in the wings and then using examples from 3 or 4 years ago. It's using the Nets as leverage because the Knicks are done and there's nothing left to talk about, and they have to find an angle. And that just be real with the audience about it. Like, And I guess maybe I should have had more sympathy and empathy for you because you've been complaining about it, and I never really felt it.
Yeah.
But in this case, I was like,
now you're the target. Now you're the target.
I've been minding my own business. I've been minding my own business. Like, congrats to Knicks fans. The team was unbelievable. I'm now I'm focused on my team, and to hear something like that, made up bullshit word vomit, actually got on my nerves. The other one was Kenny Smith, who's going on during the draft and going, I just don't even know what the Nets' plan is. Like, what are the? Let me say something. If Sean Marks won the lottery, you would have been like, their plan was executed perfectly because they didn't win the lottery. Now you don't know what the plan is. But again, it's just the negligence of not understanding the situation and just surface level understanding of a team that bothered me. Like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. If they won the lottery the last 2 years, you'd say Sean Marks was a fucking brilliant genius. They didn't get good luck. It sucks. And I'll be the first person to say this. If these picks suck, he should be fired. He should be fired immediately. But at the same time, don't cast judgment on what's their plan. Their plan was to tank and now add talent. The problem is they got fucked in the lottery a couple times, and they got to bet on these guys. If they're not good, he should be gone.
Yeah, and I would respect them more, and I think you would agree with this, but let me know what you think, that if they got on the microphones and started trashing the Nets for bringing Julius Randle in, because at least you can have an opinion about that. You're like, why would you bring this guy back? He's a loser. He lollygagged with the Knicks. He he threw a laptop at an assistant coach. I mean, I'm exaggerating. He smacked it, but like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all those different things. He pouted. He got out of teammates. He ran himself out of town, and he admitted that he smoked a lot of weed while he was in New York, and like he couldn't handle the pressure, et cetera, et cetera. Why would you want to bring this guy back here? If they had that kind of an opinion, I feel like you wouldn't like it because you want to be positive as a fan, but you would respect it.
It needs to be an opinion.
Yeah, it's a legitimate opinion. Yeah, it's not fake.
You bring up an interesting point about Randle. He's gonna, from that perspective, he's probably gonna succeed a lot in Brooklyn because he's back in New York and there's gonna be no pressure.
He liked New York. He did like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest with the audience. The Nets don't have the pressure that the Knicks have on their backs. So he's going to go to a situation where he's comfortable, but doesn't have to worry about all of the like, it won't be what he dealt with the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come to the Nets, and if he has the right attitude, I think the sky's the limit for how good he can be in the regular season because there is no pressure. They need him. He's going to get. I mean, we'll see what happens with it, but. That was the first time, Alex, that I was watching and I was sitting here and I was going, this has to stop. Get back on your parade. Talk about how Josh Hart has a great podcast. Jalen, by the way, this is the other part, and it's just affecting me when I hear Tommy say this. He's the same guy that said Jalen Brunson wasn't a good signing.
Yep.
And he's the best player in franchise history. He won a championship for the team. So it's entertainment, but it's not actual opinion. And I've done a good job of separating the two. Like, you're paid money to entertain people and get ratings. You're not paid to have intelligent sports opinions. That doesn't matter. It's about it. And I, for the first time, cracked. It was the first time in a long time I have cracked. I've bottled it all up. Congrats to the Knicks. I get it. You deserve it. But when you come for me and you come for my team with opinions that are bullshit, I cracked.
No, it's almost like you see those videos of like the fights, like kids fighting or people fighting at games or wherever. And like somebody just happens to be standing around and gets punched in the face. You're just like that Nets. That's the Nets right there. It's just like, What did I do? I'm just trying to build my team. Like, why are you taking shots at me? I just drafted a guy. Like, why did I get hit? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I get that. And a lot of people, I don't want to defend Tommy because I can't, I like him as a person. I think he's a nice person. Not that I'm friends with him, but we've DM'd a few times and things like that. And you've told me like you know him personally,
Yeah,
so I think he's a good kid.
He needed me for
guy. Yeah.
He needed me for guests every time. Text me for the guest list.
Right, for your contacts. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, reach out to Biseglia for the good contacts.
Yeah, exactly. And so I get that. So like I always like walk on eggshells with that kind of thing. But like I can't listen to him. It's all WWE sports talk, and that's what I call it. You know what I mean? And Adam Shine should be better than that. He's been around the block and knows his deal. Like when I interned at Sirius, he was like a big head honcho at NFL Radio, and he had like a big show there, and it was just like. It was great to listen to because he knew his stuff. And so it's just like now you're like on New York Post Sports and you're just trying to go viral. It just felt icky. You know what I'm saying? It's like any other way to say it is just icky, and I don't like it. And that's kind of what got me annoyed with in 2019. And now you're starting to see it because now nobody can make fun of the Knicks anymore. They won the championship. Like, what are you going to say? And, in 2019, when the Knicks didn't get Durant and Kyrie and they didn't win the lottery for Zion, they got criticized for not winning the lottery. Like, it's their fault. And then it was like, Durant got hurt. We can debate that forever, but, things might have changed because that happened, but we'll never know. And, the point is that the Nets got him and the Knicks got Randle, and everybody laughed at the Knicks, and Max Kellerman went off and, just, sold out his fandom to like just go viral and be on ESPN and ended up getting fired for it. Now he's irrelevant on a podcast with an agent. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's annoying, and it's not the best. I mean, who am I to say? You know what I mean? I'm not really in the business. I'm like half in the business, but like, who am I? Like, it's just, you can have a little bit of credibility with your points and still go viral. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have almost 11,000 followers now on Twitter at Nick Central. I go viral all the time. My tweets, I'm not trying to even pat myself on the back. I go viral all the time. I can send out something like 2 sentences and it's 100,000 views easy. Right now, especially right now with the Knicks winning. So, like, I know how to go viral, and you don't have to sell out your opinion to go viral. You could still be a sports fan and be entertaining. Like, look at Evan Roberts. He never sold out a sports fan, and that's why I love Evan and will always listen to him to the end of time. He will, sometimes he'll joke a little bit, and it annoys me, but I get it. But he'll always be honest and true with his opinion, and his fandom and his teams come first, or you think they do at least. Like Joe Beningo, same way. teams come first. You know, Joe's a little older now, and I get that, but like back in the day, I listened to Joe going to sleep at night, and I listened to Joe and Evan religiously for years. I always felt like they were real with their opinions, and they kept their fandom first, and you respect that more as a listener. I don't just want to get angry. I want to know that what you're saying is a legitimate opinion, not fake.
Yeah. I think people need to troll people to get a reaction.
That's it.
And it's just the way it is, man.
I mean, trolling happens. I mean, I can't say I don't troll sometimes.
No, but
like,
I'm saying just with with on-air opinions, and it finally cracked me. It got me. It finally got, because for the first time in a long time, I actually felt emotion of some excitement for the Nets, where
right.
I was like, all right, let me look at this roster from a basketball standpoint. They drafted their point guard.
We're trying finally.
Yegor is in year 2 and had a promising rookie season. Their power forwards are MPJ and Julius Randle. Like, not the best front court of all time, but
you finally got rid of Claxton, right? You got rid of that.
Day'Ron can then move up, and let's see what these guys in their second year can do, and we'll add some free agents, and they're going to try to win. This is by no stretch of the imagination a team that's going to be like a playoff team, but maybe they're fighting for a play-in now.
Easily, they could be.
Maybe these guys improve, and it's a team that's fighting for the 7 seed, and I have some excitement. So in my head, I'm like, there's finally some joy with the Nets.
Plus, the offseason's not over. Did the offseason end at the draft?
They have a ton. No, there's a ton more that's going to happen. I mean, all these Jaylen Brown rumors. You were showing me some of the LaMelo Ball rumors. So there's a lot more that can happen in the next couple of weeks. But I was finally feeling some joy and excitement for my franchise. And then when I heard that, I was just like, wait, aren't the Nets irrelevant to you?
Yeah.
And it's one thing to be irrelevant, where it's like they're so irrelevant they need to fold the franchise. They print money. They sell out every game
all the time.
They don't. Now, they lost a lot of potential fans, but it's almost like the Nets are being dragged into the conversation because there's nothing left in the Knicks tank. I mean, there's going to be some stuff with Mitch and that will be a talking point. What they do with
Shamet,
Alvarado, with him, and then the core bench that obviously played a huge role in helping them win the championship. But that's the conversation. The Knicks core is there. But so it's like, let's bring the Nets into the conversation, because we need to find something to make us still feel good about the championship. Because what happens, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I have felt this with my teams winning in the past, as time lingers on, it's like you still need to hold on and grasp into those moments. So you find different ways to latch on to the moments. And I think putting down the Nets is actually a way for Knicks fans to still feel some joy from their championship. As time goes on, life moves forward, and you can't just relish in the moment of that time. It's like, well, let me feel better about myself and make myself feel relevant again, and put down the Nets one last time.
Honestly, I haven't even thought about the Nets.
Good.
And I hate the Nets. And you know that.
Shouldn't.
I've hated the Nets, but like the last 2 years, it's like I don't mean this as an ass. Like I felt bad. Like, especially the lottery this year, I felt really bad. I was just like, oh man, it's like kicking a handicapped guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I want to beat? Like, it was more fun to troll you in 2020, 2021 when things were started falling apart. And you saw the cracks in the armor. You know, like that, fine. But like now, it's like, all right, whatever, man. Like, and you know, the Nets, like, the Nets deserve it a little bit. The fan base, maybe not you, but the fan base deserves it a little bit to get it back. When Knicks won a title, like, you tried all this crap. You thought you won it all in 2019. You're supposed to have a dynasty. Now look at us. We got the championship. You got nothing. Fine. But like, making up reasons to make fun of them or say stupid things like they should move back to New Jersey, where they weren't profitable in New Jersey. Like, you personally want them to move to New Jersey because they were closer, but like, on a scale of the Nets being in Brooklyn or being in Kansas City, I'm sure you'd rather them be in Brooklyn. Like,
they make a ton of money, and they sell out every game.
It's not economically. It's not an economic thought. It's stupid.
And by the way, when they were really good, there was a lot of energy. They have been tanking for the last 2 years.
Look at the Mets. The Mets suck. They can't sell a ticket. But you know what I'm saying, and they have a bigger fan base than the Nets, and baseball.
But it's so funny because there's just like these assumptions built around, like, oh, but it's the Mets and they got a big fan base, when they you're right. Like nobody wants to go there.
I don't want to go.
There's
I
a
haven't
problem.
watched the Mets.
There's a problem
in a
that's
while, and
brewing
I'm a
with
diehard
them.
fan.
It's the same thing. It's like I had to
Yeah,
these clips just got on my.
I
They
get
got
it.
me.
I get
They
it.
beat me like Zach Lowe going on there, and then hey this like
What
when
did Zach Lowe
when
say? I
they
didn't see anything about Zach Lowe.
well, no, it's just
Yeah.
the same thing of they don't really have a fan base and there's just no energy. But it's like they totally missed the year before. Like that place was nuts. That place was nuts, and there's an unfair balance because it's just always going to be like this because they're in the same city with the Knicks. That there's going to be a comp. Well, it's not the Knicks. Well, it can still be pretty
I
damn
get it,
good,
man.
and I still can have a lot of joy out of it. It like if you go back and watch these games, that place was crazy. But yeah, when it's April and they are playing their G League team and they are 19-57, what are you expecting it to be like?
Right.
It's going to be it was sold out because the tickets were affordable, but you can't watch those games and be like it's impossible.
No, I get it. I get it. And even when the Knicks sucked or, they were, bad or just trying to be good, you know what I mean? It just there was a buzz in the arena because MSG, and like when they try to get close at the end of the game, Mike Breen talks about it all the time, and it's true. Like the crowds would be into it, even though the Knicks are out of it. But it wasn't exactly $1,000 a ticket to get to the games. You know what I'm saying? Like,
end of games get exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, end of games and close games get exciting.
Right.
The fans wake up for the last 3 minutes when it's 107-106.
Right, and
we
can have fun. This is why we came here to have fun. I get it.
Man.
I get it. I don't know.
I do think, Alex, the Nets-Knicks rivalry will kind of start to pick up again because
with Randle, especially
with Randle there's going to be some crossover. The Nets now have like some young players.
Maybe he'll get credit
building.
for dislodging a ball this time with the Nets.
That's still looking back at the 2 minute
old school bad weather fans would know that
look
one.
back at the 2 minute report.
The Kyrie hitting Julius Randle hitting the ball at Kyrie in that Knicks Nets game from years ago. That's all.
No, there'll be some like Nick games will be.
Yeah,
they're gonna be a little more fun this year.
And I mean,
hopefully the Nets are in the phase to beat them once,
right?
Which I hope happens this season because they have a little more talent. But
it's crazy. And honestly, like speaking of a Nets-Knicks connection, like really quick, Mikal Bridges, I've seen videos everywhere of how much he was crying after they won, and seeing him at the parade and how happy he was, and he was just being like just a goofball like he usually is on the Instagram Live for 30 minutes just talking. And Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart said they tried to text him to shut off his IG Live, and he just wrote back no in capital letters while he's live and is just drunk and listening to music and talking shit about Jalen in his head and whatever. And, I think like Mikal Bridges might be unlocked next year because he has the weight of the 5 picks are gone.
I agree with that.
Like that's a mental thing that we didn't even think about. Like we made fun of him and people made fun of him, not me, but people made fun of him and the trade and whatever. And Leon Rose on Roommates, and he said it should have been more on me than him. Like he didn't do anything; he just got traded for. Like what did he do?
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and and that makes sense, and it sucks. But like I think Mikal now is going to be himself, personality wise. He's going to be himself on the floor a little better. I mean, maybe I'm just hoping, but I just from a mental capacity, I think that is gone now, and I think he's going to be a little better. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that. At this point, you won the championship. That's what it was from the Knicks side of the trade. It was if they don't win a championship, it wasn't worth it.
Right.
You didn't get to the ultimate goal because you did give up a pretty penny to get him onto the team. So, yeah, I think it does unlock him. I think you see more of what Mikal is, and I do agree that he is probably his best regular season with the Knicks next year, and I would totally be on board with that and understand that perspective based on everything that you had just laid out. And with that trade too, I think it's in the right direction for the Knicks to, as they are sitting here right now, not acquire first round picks. They don't need it at this certain point, but in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there probably will be a bigger need for first round picks for the team as you have your stars aging. Who knows who's left on the roster? So to me, it makes sense for the Knicks to punt on first rounders this year if they can try to acquire more in the years where they don't have one.
Right.
Because those Mikal picks went to the Nets. So I think that's the strategy for the Knicks. They don't need a young 20-year-old right now. This is a team built to win it all. They need veterans on the, for your bench as your core. So just, from a basketball and then the second apron stuff.
Yeah,
It makes more sense. It's just logical.
this you bring up the second apron, and I agree with everything you said, and it was well put out. And the second apron stuff is funny because Knicks fans and reporters and everybody just started freaking out. Maybe the reporters weren't freaking out, but just like wondering why they're not doing this, going to the second apron. Leon Rose and the executives and the players didn't just find out about the second apron on WFAN 2 weeks ago. Like, they've known about the restrictions and the goals of the organization for next season, win a championship or not. Dolan doesn't want to go into the second apron. And that doesn't mean they can't start the season in the second apron and then figure it out in the middle of the year like they've done in the past. You know, there are ways to manipulate the cap. It's not like they can't get over it right now. They can, but they don't have to be over that. They can't be over it by a certain point in the season or something like that. It's something technical for the nerds. I don't care. I just know there's something in that regard. But the point is that by opening day, they don't have to be under the second apron for it to work. So they can be a little bit over it, number one. Number two, the way that they are handling this draft is perfect. They are trading back. They traded back multiple times. I don't have to read it all, but they made 100 trades. Everybody knows what happened. They had the 24th pick. They traded back to the 25th pick for nothing. Then they drafted a kid, and he's a stash, and then they traded him. And then then they kept going back. Then they had the first pick in the second round. They traded that. They got two guys on two-way deals, which is great. We'll fill out the roster. You know, one kid's supposed to be a good shooter, like whatever. And who cares? But, you know, Leon Rose has shown that he can nail these late picks. He got Muhammad Diawara, who they signed to a pretty good deal for the next couple of years. They have him locked up. They hit him in the playoffs, and they won a championship anyway, and they really did hide him. You know what I mean? Because they didn't want anybody to see him and be like, well, this guy's great. They signed him to hopefully is a Deuce McBride contract where it's a bargain. You have a guy who's a big contributor on the bench that isn't paid a lot. That's number two. And number three, I don't know if I'm at two. Number three, if I'm at three, I think that having knowing the plan from the beginning, I think the players know as well. Jose Alvarado moves his player exercise option date to after the draft to help out the team. When have you seen somebody like that and not stay with the organization? You know, like, and then Mitchell Robinson has been silent. Landry Shamit's in town going around Long Island and different places doing autograph signings. He's like running for office, you know, and you know, I just have that vibe, and I can't prove it, that the players know the number they need to accept to stay here, and they've already accepted verbally under the table. And I believe that that's the case, and that's not tampering. They're on your team. You can talk to whoever you want on your team. The only thing that might happen is somebody might throw a massive bag at Mitchell Robinson, and then it's like, all right. But I do think that he's the kind of guy. He's been here 8 years. He came here as a 19-year-old raw kid who didn't play college basketball, just sat out a year and just worked out. And he's literally grown up here. He's come here from when they sucked to now in their championship. I got a little emotional seeing him on the parade float, just seeing what he's been through from Fizdale to all the way to now. And I have his jersey. He's my favorite player, and everybody knows that who listens to me. But I do think that he's a different kind of guy. And seeing his social media, he loves to hunt. He loves to be out in the outdoors. He's in the sticks in the middle of Westchester. You see all these different like stories from people in the neighborhood, how he stops around in his truck, talks to kids, takes pictures, like has tons of patience for them. Even the day before the parade, you know, things like that. So I do think there's something to him and he has young kids now. It's something to him where he doesn't want to move. You know what I mean? Maybe like obviously money talks, but if it's not that big of a difference, why would you want to uproot your entire life? You know, I mean, that's just me. Like what, you know, and Jalen Brunson doing that has trickled down possibly to the rest of the organization. Like, wow, you took less. And, you know, I mean, people say he gave up $113 million. Now he just took less. He didn't like hand them over a check for $113 million, you know, but either way, he took less and helped them build the team into a championship contender. And when your star does something like that and doesn't take every last penny, it kind of looks at you like, well, and look at you. You just won a championship. Now imagine if you win 2 or 3 or whatever, have a dynasty, let's say, you know, whatever, you know, just for an example. You now make long-term money. You don't just make that extra few million on your contract like Jeremy Lin and then become irrelevant. You now can become a literal legend and be signing autographs until you're 70 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know what you think about that. I just feel like there could be something that's brewing already, and the plan was already been in place for months.
Yeah, I don't. Thank you. I guess two parts of it. One,
That was long.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know. No, it's good. I don't know the extent to which, like, what the Knicks can offer him, and then let's just say a team with, for example, who's not going to do it. But I'll lay out a team that has a lot of cap. The Nets, where the Nets have a ton of cap and they can offer him this much more money. Now, in this situation, he probably doesn't have to uproot his family, so it's
Right.
and move. It's probably a different. If I said. He's going out to Memphis, where
Right.
he's in a irrelevant city, and is not the city's irrelevant, but irrelevant as in no one's going to talk about the Grizzlies.
Well, really quick, he's from Texas, but like kind of grew up in Florida, went to high school in Florida, so he doesn't really have that like hometown. Like Durant's from DC, you know what I mean? He kind of like has been around. So
yeah, I guess it just all boils down to what more money is, right? Like if somebody's going to offer you 20, 30 more $1 million, that you're not. That's if it's hard to say no to that, and if you did, God bless you. I don't think there's that many autographs you can sign that's going to equate to $20 million, right? Like whatever the number is, but I don't. If it's $2 million and he's a lifelong Nick, it's like okay,
right, 5 to 10,
$2 million when
reason. Yeah.
So and everybody's different, so it's hard for me to put myself in Mitch's shoes and then say, well, I was blown away with this offer. I got my chip. I can make this much money annually. Like I have to do it, or it's all his decision. But if there was somebody that I'm sure he wants to be here, my gut says he stays, just based on nothingness,
right? Vibes.
Then also from like another team's perspective, I think Mitch added so much value to the Knicks. But if Mitch is on a team that stinks, it's like he's just like this awesome weapon that you can insert. That he did so much for a team that was going to win a championship, and we talk about his value. But if he goes to a team that sucks, it's like he's not really a floor. He doesn't do anything offensively.
He's a piece.
He's a piece, and I don't know. Maybe a team wants him, and then they can build around and add more. So I shouldn't say it's necessarily a bad idea, but to me, he feels like a lifelong Knick and should be one.
Yeah, and why would he want to, I mean, hypothetically, why would he want to go to another team that's a contender to be a piece there when you could be here when you just won a championship and you're already here and settled here?
Money.
It's money, yeah. But like I said, he doesn't have a hometown. Like he's from Texas and then, he was raised by his grandmother, then moved to Florida and like, you know what I mean? And went to high school there and et cetera, et cetera. His high school actually follows me on Twitter, which is the weirdest thing. But like, it's here in New York, my point is that New York is home. Like, this is his hometown. Like, you moved here when you were 19. You've been here for 8 years. You're a millionaire. You have a massive house. You have space. You have land. Like, this is your home. Like, why? I get it. Money talks. And this happens with a lot of players. But he just seems like a different kind of dude. I don't know.
If he was a Net, would that bother you?
A little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think he would. I don't think
like if somebody like Landry Shamet went to the Nets again.
Well,
like,
he was a Net.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like if somebody like that, like, and talk about viral. The easiest viral tweet I ever had was taking a picture of Mikal Bridges and Landry Shamet and put them in Nets jerseys and say, Nets had these two demons and they let them go, and it just blew up. Like so, you can still be a Knicks fan and not sell out your fandom and not say anything stupid and still get viral. But anyway, and that was when they were both playing well, of course. But timing is everything. I don't know. It would bother me a little bit because I've developed, as an adult, it's hard to develop an emotional attachment to players, and I definitely have with him just because he's been here throughout. Like nobody on this team gets it more than him. I mean, Jalen Brunson maybe gets it because he's been around the Knicks players like his whole life, but like nobody, I don't think anybody can get it from this era like him. And maybe I'm overselling that, but also on top of that, Mitchell Robinson dominates games from a defensive and rebounding perspective, and he's a massive weapon, and that's why they do hack a Mitch to get him off the floor.
Sure.
Because he's that good. And, the free throws do suck, and that's annoying. But, like, when you have a guy like Towns who can do it all, and then you go to Mitch who can now shut you down defensively, there's no drop-off, really, defensively. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, he's better defensively. And we said it when they had Hartenstein. Like, it's like, you had two starting centers, and that's why the Knicks were so dangerous. Like, you still have that now. It's like, why get rid of that? And if you replace him with, like, an Andre Drummond, you're like, oh, well, let's get him. He's a backup. Like, people, that's the thing where Knicks fans talk themselves into this, like, every year with Mitchell Robinson. It's like, oh, well, we can just get another backup and replace the production. Like, why are you looking at the stats with him? Like, first of all, you don't understand the player if you're looking at the stats of Mitchell Robinson. And number two, like, there is not another backup center in the NBA or that fringe starter in the NBA that plays like him and dominates the game like him defensively. That is not a max contract player. You know what I'm saying? Like, so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I would agree. I think obviously in the Knicks' best interest, if they can, to bring him back, as he's a core piece.
And I would want him over Alvarado and Shamet. Sorry, I just want to say that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think those guys are more replaceable. Not that they weren't great and had moments, and Alvarado had huge spark in the comeback in Game 4, and Shamet hit some big threes. But I think they're what they bring to a basketball court is probably easier to replace than Mitch from a basketball standpoint. And I would agree with that.
Really quick before you go on, like Alvarado, I think is a guy that would take a discount, like massive, because he's home now. He won the title. He's a hero. He was already a hero because he came from, nothing and was in the NBA. Like, that's like a massive thing already. But now he came home, hit big shots, made big plays in the finals, and won a championship. The man had literally his own float in the parade. Like, you know what I mean? He wasn't sharing with anybody. He had his own float with a microphone, and he was the man. You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to leave? Like, why would you leave that for a few extra million? I don't get it. Like, I don't make the millions, so I don't get it. But, like, I just don't get why you would walk away from that,
Alvarado has not earned the same amount of money.
No.
So he just doing a quick Google search, $11.8 million in his career. So if somebody were to offer him $15 million annually as opposed to $6 million annually, I could see for $9 million saying, I got to do this.
Right. I'm already the hero. I got the chip.
Yeah. I don't know what the market value is, but I'm just saying, like, Mitch is going to get a bigger contract than Alvarado. So if somebody blows Alvarado out of the water and can give him money that's annually bigger, like, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah.
I couldn't, if he's like, all right, I'm going to Dallas and they're offering me 12 a season as opposed to staying with the Knicks and getting 4.5,
right?
Whatever it comes down to, if it's 4.5 to 5.5, okay.
Right. Yeah.
12, if it's 11,
no, I get it.
I think it kind of is the nuance of that. All right, this has been Bad Weather Fans, episode 308. Don't forget to subscribe, like. If you're watching this on YouTube, do that, please. We're also still on Apple and Spotify as we continue now into the offseason. NBA draft is over. Nets make a splash with their first-round pick. They trade for Julius Randle. And the Knicks just trade him back, and we'll see what they do in the offseason. Alex, good episode. And I think that's it for me, man.
Yeah, it was fun. I do think, close it out, I do think that the Knicks are going to keep all three. Shamet, Alvarado, and Mitch, and I do think that the deal has already been done. And I think they got to dump Daddier, Pacome Daddier, and, Jordan Clarkson. Thank you for your service. Salute. Thanks for taking the vet minimum, but have a good career. So let's go Knicks. Hopefully we can repeat. And, thanks for listening. Bad Weather Fans. See you later.
Bad Weather Fans, 308. We'll talk to you later.